You know that feeling when something has every reason to be good, the right people involved, a solid concept, an interesting setup, but then it completely misses. That's the best way I can describe Psycho Killer, a horror thriller that came out recently. On the surface, it checks a lot of boxes. You've got a grieving highway patrol officer named Jane who loses her husband to a serial killer and dedicates herself to tracking him down. The screenplay was written by Andrew Kevin Walker, who wrote Se7en, one of the most respected thrillers ever made. So the expectation is there. The problem is, the film never figures out what it actually wants to say. Jane is set up like she has some real emotional depth, loss, trauma, a personal mission, and then the movie just moves on from all of that. She spends the rest of the film somehow outsmarting an entire FBI manhunt with very little explanation, and the audience is just expected to go along with it. Then there's a killer himself, and this is where things get a little hard to take seriously. He's basically every scary villain cliche stacked on top of each other. Long dark hair, a creepy mask, a voice so unnaturally deep it sounds like a sound effect, and a whole Satanism thing complete with leather and blood rituals. There's even a scene in a church that, let's just say, does not go well for the priest. And the thing is, these scenes should feel tense, but they end up feeling more like a parody of the genre than an actual horror film. And that's the comparison that keeps coming up, Se7en. What made that movie's villain so unsettling was that he looked completely ordinary. Nothing about him screamed dangerous, and that's exactly what made him terrifying. Psycho Killer went the opposite direction, and it shows. There is one moment in the film that actually works. The killer tracks down a group of wealthy Satanists, and Malcolm McDowell shows up, and for about 10 minutes, the movie genuinely loosens up. There's some dark humor, a little world building, and it hints at something more interesting underneath. You almost think the film is about to turn a corner. Then it ends in a CGI bloodbath, and the momentum just dies. From there, the third act goes completely off the rails. Tonally, structurally, all of it. By the time it wraps up with a sequel tease, it's hard not to feel like this movie was kind of delusional about how it landed. At the end of the day, Psycho Killer is one of those films that's frustrating precisely because you can see the potential that went to waste. A strong lead actress, a compelling premise, a writer with a legendary resume, none of it came together. And honestly, films like this are worth talking about, because understanding why something doesn't work is just as interesting as celebrating what does. If that's the kind of breakdown you're into, go ahead and subscribe. I do this kind of thing regularly, and there's plenty more to get into. Thanks for watching.